Okay, here we are at day 11 of Mastering Astral Projection. We're pretty much in routine. So we're doing the relaxation for 5 minutes, and then we're doing the deepening breathing technique for 5 minutes. Optional today is leg work, but the bouncing the legs is mandatory. And optional today is body stimulation arm work, but the bouncing the arms is mandatory. And what we're adding today is bouncing the spine. And so this is, imagining this globe of light, or however you want to visualize it, starting at the base of the spine, moving to the top of the head, and bouncing back and forth for 5 minutes. And then again, you're just looking for the right rate at which to bounce. And something to focus on when you're bouncing. Try not to tie the breathing into the bouncing. So it's really common, especially with the spine, to start bouncing the breath, and then what happens is your breath is moving too fast, and you actually want your breath to move slow. So see if you can disconnect the two. So that gets a little tricky, but it's doable. So today's dreams, woke up in the middle of the night with a I don't know if it was the middle of the night. No, it was probably about, I think it was still dark out, so it was 5 or 5:30 this morning. I was in a band. We were signed to a fairly large label, and we were doing press releases. And we were getting ready to go up north for the winter, which seems counterintuitive to go north for the winter, but that's what we were doing. We had just finished this press release. I was with somebody from the band. It was a guy, I don't know if he was a partner or a brother, or he seemed to be really close to me, but we were taking off together. We came out of the building, and we started crossing what seemed to be like a large expanse of park, and we were riding some sort of transportation device that was like a cross between a Segway and a skateboard. And as we started going, this song came into my head, and it was an operatic song, and it had a very prominent melody, and so I started singing it as we were moving along. And there were lots of people in the park and stuff, but my voice had the sound as if it was in a large hall. It was very interesting. So I was singing in this really high falsetto, this operatic song. So that was kind of interesting. I had never heard the song before, so I recorded it last night before I went back to bed. Then I had a dream about I was on a scooter, and I think I was in Paris, and I was dodging all of this traffic, and the roads were very curved and going up and down hills, and I arrived at a destination, and there was one parking space available, and I put the scooter in the parking space and I had a blue Jansport backpack with me, and I set it down, and somebody came up behind me, and I think was kind of upset that I had snagged this last parking space, so he decided to park behind me as well. And I went up into this cafe, and I don't recall what I was doing there, but I wasn't planning on spending a long time there, and I came back down, and my scooter and my backpack were gone. So I was a bit disgruntled about that. Then I had another dream, and I was going after Mel. He was way ahead of me, but I was walking down this sidewalk, and I started trotting. So it was like this brisk trot to try and catch up to him. And I remember jumping over a couple of sprinklers that were aimed over the sidewalk. And my jumping sensation, it was, rather than jumping off of sidewalk, it felt like I was jumping off of a trampoline, and then I was able to get this extra boost as I was jumping. So it was really interesting. Very similar to the sensations that happen with the body when you're moving into an out-of-body experience. It's like you have an unexpected jolt of movement. So that happened. So I think that the dream, this is attributable to the work that I'm doing. And so anyway, in the dream I was at a shopping center. I could see him at the other end of the shopping center, so I knew I was getting close. And finally, when I reached him, he explained to me that he had to be home in 20 minutes. And I said, you know what, if you have to rush, why not just call a taxi? And I told him about this. I knew this African American taxi driver who ran this business out of his home, and he also ran a trash truck service, picking up trash. And Mel said to me, well, I don't know if I can trust him because he's also running this trash service. And I was like, what? What does that have to do with it? And I'm thinking, to me it seemed like this is Mel logic, and I have to try and figure it out what it means. So, and then I got this visualization of the taxi driver's yard, what it looked like where he parked his car, what he looked like where he had the trash truck, and the people that worked with him in this business. So, I think that about covers it.